Welcome to Mississippi Family Homestead. It's our campfire night. It is real dry here, so when we get through, believe me, we're going to get the water hose and
put it out.
Make sure this doesn't go anywhere. And tonight we're going to we'll chat. We're going to talk in the chat, but also we're going to talk about some chicken laws that are changing. Some you may know about, some you may not. Also, is it too early to plant? And we may even touch on if backyard chickens are worth it.
Yeah.
But as we're starting a little early tonight, as we get started, we're going to walk down to the pond and feed the fish.
Yeah, so because if we wait any longer, it's going to be too dark and you won't be able to see them. So we've got our fish food, and this is the first time we've fed them probably weeks. I think I fed them when it started first getting warm. They may
not come up. But
yeah, they may not. When it first started getting warm, we fed them a little bit, but it's probably been about a month since they've ate, any food. And of course, we don't feed them the floating food through the winter time. So we're going to see how they do. And it may be a little bit too dark. You may not be able to see them.
It may be. We're just going to try this out. We did start early, so. And if you're watching in the replay, thanks for joining us. We do this live every Thursday night at 7:30 Central.
Is it still picking up?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I set the little Wi-Fi thing out.
Okay. So all right.
These are our catfish. And the water level is low. You can see my foot. It should be right about there.
All right, let's just see if they're going to come up. I'll put some a little closer too.
The brim are coming up, but the catfish might have gave up. Yeah, put it closer.
There's baby cat. There's those young catfish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look at them. They're younger ones in there.
I don't know if you can see them, but...
yeah.
And if you're just joining us, we started a little early to feed the catfish.
We didn't figure we could see them if it was dark.
Yeah. They're getting pretty big. They just open their mouths and go around. They're happy to see you, aren't they?
Yeah.
Some of them may have gave up and gone home.
Yeah, they're not quite making as big a splash as they do sometimes in the summer. They're not used to being fed. Now we have a bunch of brim in here too. And I just saw some younger catfish. So they are breeding and they're producing in our pond, which is great. That's kind of what you want.
We purposely don't have any bass in this pond so they can reproduce, without having to worry about predators getting the babies as much as possible. Well, I don't see, is that one? There's one over there.
Yeah. Okay. So there's some younger ones.
They are reproducing.
Yeah. But I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So as the summer goes on, it'll be more light. And, when we start our live stream, we'll come down here probably every live stream on Thursdays and feed the fish on the live stream. And it'll as the days get longer, you'll be able to see better. But we did start a little bit early today, but I think that's awesome. They are reproducing.
We may have started a little too early. But
yeah, but it's okay. They are coming up.
There's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell how big they are from the camera.
And it's dark. It's getting dark. We should have brought the flashlight and shined it in it. Look, there's a small one.
Yeah.
Look.
There's a big one and a small one right there.
Yeah, they're huge. They're coming up here. See them?
Oh, he's got a little thing on his head. something attacked him.
He's had that since last year.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
The mosquitoes are getting bad down here.
I don't have any mosquitoes.
They're all over me.
Really?
Ow. Yes.
Well, we'll have to go back and sit by the fire because, you know, mosquitoes don't like fire.
You know, well, we should
Move
put
the
fire down here.
Yeah, we should have put it down here, but we didn't. It's okay.
I'd like to do that when it's not quite as dry.
Yes. Yeah, it's a little grown up down here.
Where it is, we could get the water hose and put it out.
Yeah. I guess we could dip buckets of water out of the pond.
Oh, the mosquitoes bothering you now.
Now, the mosquitoes are bothering me now. Look. I don't know if y'all can see how huge these catfish are, but they're really, really huge.
We've had them for what, 4 years? 5 years?
4 or
maybe?
5. I think it's 5 now that we've had them because we got them in the spring, and so they're about 5 years old.
There's a little one. We'll have to bring the light down here next time.
Yeah, we will, so you can see.
And hello, if you're just joining us.
We did start a little early. We're sorry.
Yeah.
We wanted to try to let y'all see the catfish. So if you rewind a little bit, you'll be able to see the catfish.
We do this every Thursday night. This is our first night to start with the catfish, but we do it every Thursday night. Talk about homesteading things, farming type things for people that are farming or homesteading or raising chickens, raising gardens, and we like to learn from everybody.
Yep. So I guess it's getting a little bit dark.
Right.
So we'll walk on back up to the.
So we'll try to. I don't have a selfie stick on here. Are you behind me?
Yeah, I'm here. Here, you want me to walk in front?
Well, no, you can walk in the back.
Oh, okay.
The camera's facing. I'll get ahead of you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know which way the camera was facing.
Hello, your sister says hello.
Hello.
We're feeding the fish.
We did start early so we could feed the fish, so you might could have seen them. So now my sister's seen them in person.
I think she's eaten a few of them. All right, so we're coming up here.
Getting it set up. There we go. Is it too far away? I don't know. I think it's okay.
You tell me.
I think it's all right. I'm just backed up from the fire because it's a little warm outside. I don't think we're going to be able to do the fire for, you know, too much longer. Because it's just
because it's so hot.
It is. It's very hot. Your leg of that is a little close to the fire now. Don't burn it. So.
As we all know who the boss is around here.
Yeah, that's better. That looks better. A little closer. So, if you're...
Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, so if you're just joining us, we did start a little bit early. If you want to rewind, you can. We went down to feed the fish. We were trying to get the fish fed before it got too dark so you could see them on the live. So, you know, if you're just joining us, we did start early. So,
and we're going to talk about like some chicken laws in different states. Also, is it too early to plant in the garden or to move your plants outside? And also if chickens are worth it. We're going to kind of touch on that tonight. Hey Joe, how are you? We started a little early tonight, Joe. We walked down to the pond and fed the catfish while it was still light. So in a few weeks I think it'll be light.
I think so
outside. Too. So, and I do think you're right. The fire is going to be too hot pretty soon. Yeah,
it's warm right now.
Yeah. So we'll be outside, just outside under a light. So Joe, how are the quail doing?
And we had a question about your quail, Joe. you know, you said you were
Yeah.
going to release them. So what happens after you release them? Do they like
Do
stay?
they like go? Do you release them? Like, are they free and stay around there, or
Yeah.
what?
So what happens? Because we've never you know, grown quail, and we just are curious as to how that works when you raise quail.
It's still almost 80 here, and I feel it's. Can you read it?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get
scoot
there.
up. It's still almost 80 here, and feel sure it's really warm there. It is. Quail are doing great. Good.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there are mosquitoes. I guess we're gonna have to start spraying.
off.
Yeah, off on us.
Is that the best thing to spray now?
I think so. Of course, they're they're not supposed to like the smoke either from the fire. So.
Yeah, we won't be able to get as close to the fire if we.
No, we wouldn't. But in the wintertime, it's nice to have the fire, but not now.
And we buy this wood at the store down the road just because I don't have any chopped up. But
So Joe says, hopefully they will make their own area and not stay at the coop. I'm trying to establish a good hunting population.
okay.
I have 150 acres, so they should in the general area though. Okay.
I think I've heard of people doing that around here. I think right up the road about 5 miles, there's some kind of quail preserve up there that they do that.
And they do that. Okay.
Yeah. Right, it's kind of across from the power plant, up from the power plant, they do that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Oh, Tasha said, we were talking about the fish earlier, and she said that we did eat the fish when she was here. We did have a fish fry one time when she was here. So.
And I think it's time to do that again. We need to get the population scaled down. I was looking over some different chicken laws around.
Okay.
We started, I think Joe brought this up in one of the live streams, and I was kind of looking at what some of the ones that were going in effect. Now, in Illinois, before cities could, if you lived in a city, they could completely ban all backyard hens.
Really?
Now, every person has the right to, I guess, to have a chicken, and towns can regulate, but they can't ban chickens in Illinois.
Okay.
And the same protections already in Maine and Kentucky.
So they can't ban them completely.
I think a lot of cities are trying to ban chickens, but now some of the cities will, because of the state laws now that to protect you, they'll say, okay, you can only have 5 chickens, but no roosters.
Speaking of that, we need to research the gardens. Is there restriction on gardens in cities? I would just wonder about that. Maybe we can look that up and kind of
I don't know about
research
city.
that.
I don't know. We'll have to look at that.
For our next thing, we can look at the garden stuff and see. It just made me think. Do they restrict the gardens too? Growing your food in your, and I'm sure some HOAs probably have a restriction.
The HOA we lived in, they didn't enforce it, but they had it was in the bylaws that you could not have a garden.
Really?
In your backyard, yeah.
Okay.
And what was weird is you had wooden fences there. Nobody could see in your
yard.
Yard, but you could not have a garden there. Now in California, in the Redlands, they voted 5-0 in February. Before, hens were allowed in rural estate zones only. Now most single-family neighborhoods, they're allowed. If it's under 4,000 square feet, you can have, let's see, like 3 hens, and then it kind of goes up to 9, but they don't allow roosters at all. And
so I guess you can't actually raise chickens if in California there.
Joe said my son lives in Charleston, Indiana. He can have hens, but not allowed any roosters.
Okay.
Okay.
So you can't reproduce them. You can just raise the hens and have eggs.
I think the rooster thing is because
they're loud.
The noise.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, but a lot of, I mean, states are kind of slowly protecting you, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, during the virus, it became a thing. You know, people started growing their gardens and getting chickens. You know, that's when it became so much bigger, is when, you know, the virus came through. And I feel like that's probably the reason that they're changing it, because so many people have chickens now,
right.
You know, and it is a thing. I mean, I've hatched chickens for, you know, several neighbors.
Out of a neighborhood.
I would, wouldn't I? So,
by the way, Chickens Uncle Bob says hi, y'all. Also, Joe wrote, yeah, it's the noise factor for Charleston, but at the same time, people are allowed to have indoor dogs that bark all night. You are exactly right.
You're right.
Because you know, they would. I don't think they would allow. I didn't think about that, but you remember when we lived in the subdivision? The dog barked all night.
I remember that.
All night.
It was so annoying. Is that? Oh, I guess that's the cat.
It was very
I heard
annoying.
something.
Yeah, they allow a dog to bark all night, but not, you know, the chickens don't make any noise at night usually.
Well,
I mean, they do early in the morning, but they don't.
Well, sometimes at 3 in the morning they decide to get up and party and start crowing. But you know, they don't really make a whole
but that is so
lot
true
of
that
noise.
The dog barks all night. Now here in Mississippi, there's no statewide law that protects your right to have chickens. It's left entirely up to the local cities and counties.
Okay.
Most rural areas in Mississippi, which is, there's no restrictions. Over in Jackson, they allow backyard hens with limits. Roosters are restricted in residential zones. Hattiesburg, which is on south of here,
permits small backyard flocks with coop setback rules.
Yeah, Hattiesburg is kind of one of the 3 college towns here.
But most small towns in rural Mississippi no ordinance at all. You are free to keep chickens, and I guess just raise them and do what you want.
Am I right that the law, I was scared the laws were coming in to kind of ban you from having chickens.
Ben, I think we're wrong. Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
That they're here to kind of protect. I'm surprised, you know, that they're not, but, you know, the cities just go crazy.
It does say that the risk is because Mississippi had no statewide protection like Maine or Kentucky, a city council could vote tomorrow to ban all chickens and there's nothing stopping them.
Yeah.
So there's not anything saying.
So Mississippi is behind in that.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to protect. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So that's why, you know, we all need to make sure we pay attention to any of those laws that they're trying to pass about chickens and gardening and all of it, you know. You don't want bans on your chickens.
Yeah,
and stuff.
But it is a trend that's spreading, and the standard for U.S. is, they say, somewhere between 3 and 6 hens.
Yeah.
And no roosters. And
well,
you know,
even if you have 3 hens and they're laying, you know, eggs every day, you know, if they're good layers, that's enough, you know, for your family, you know, to eat. If you don't eat eggs every day, you know, most people don't eat them every day. Some people do, but I think, you know, if you could only have 3 hens, you could still work with that and eat your eggs.
All right, here's where I think they go overboard.
Okay, so what do they got?
In Mobile, you're allowed 8 hens, but it's a $25 permit plus inspection.
Really?
According to this, I think that's way overkill. And then also Montgomery, there's a zoning permit required there.
Okay.
So that's why some of these places are doing this to
Yeah.
get these
And it says-
nuts that are in office in the local cities to
Yeah,
quit
it
doing
says
this.
in Dothan you can have 6, and it's a 1/2 acre lot minimum. So you have to have a
I
half
just
acre
don't
to have
think
6.
you should have to have a permit to have your own chickens.
I don't think so either. And I think that that's, just kind of
Creating
wrong.
somebody a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
won't
just
be too ugly, but
yeah, that's
we try not to get political here.
yeah.
But, that but that
Well,
is crazy. And
there's enough rules and regulations like there is. There's too many rules and regulations on your food, period, and eggs, period. Over in England, they don't wash their egg. They don't do the same as we do. They don't have the rule that the eggs have to be refrigerated and thoroughly washed and all the bloom washed off of them. And if you know anything about chickens, when they lay their eggs, it has a bloom on it, and it protects the eggs, and they can just sit on the counter, as long as it's not extremely hot, for 2 months.
Yeah, Joe said that, and that's exactly where most states and cities are going to go permit fees.
Yeah.
So they can make money off the people who have chickens. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think that's insane, personally. But
So let's see. Spring Hill, Tennessee allows 4 hens, but it has to be 10,000 square feet. I think that's what that's saying for per hen, or just for 4 hens.
But yeah, they're looking for another way.
Yeah.
To get money.
Yeah.
And this permit stuff.
So in Maryland, before they were not allowed. This is in Wrigley, Maryland. But now you can have 6 hens, but you have to pay $50 for a permit. And let's see, in Maine, statewide, before, towns could ban all chickens. Now they cannot ban any chickens outright.
Joe said England is different because their eggs aren't heat pasteurized like ours.
Right. They're not.
And that's why they don't have to be refrigerated.
Yeah, and it's, to me, it's kind of some of the things that we do here in America on the food restrictions is a little overboard sometimes, Well,
my opinion is, no matter what side of the fence you're on, all of these food restriction laws, most of them, the more you dig, it doesn't seem that they're there for safety as much as they are for the lobbyists protecting the big people and not wanting people like us.
Yeah, the small people, the small rural farmers or the small homesteaders.
Yeah.
To be able to do stuff.
Just my opinion. I just think that they're more there to affect, the huge conglomerates. I'm going to make sure that camera's not getting too hot.
Okay. Okay, so it says, the big picture is that you can have 3 to 6 hens and no roosters, but you often have to have a permit. And then the trend that's spreading is for Maine, Kentucky, Illinois, and California. And that, Mississippi is not really protected yet. But if you are protected, it seems like you're having to pay a permit fee.
Yeah. Chickens Uncle Bob just mentioned, wow, I actually just looked it up. My mom just got 4 chickens, and her city council voted against chickens.
Oh,
so
no.
Since March, she's not allowed to have them. Joe mentioned Chicken Uncle Bob. That's been going on a lot of places in the last couple years.
Oh my goodness.
We need to stand up.
Yeah.
I can understand in a neighborhood the rooster thing.
I understand that. I do understand that, but there should be some restrictions on some dogs too, just saying.
Right, there should be the same restrictions on dogs. And we love dogs too. We've got dogs, but there should be the same restrictions on dogs.
Yeah.
If they don't want the noise from the roosters, then you shouldn't be allowed to.
Exactly. So, we're just saying.
Also, your weed eater makes noise. I mean, you know how
Your
far
weed
you want to
eater,
go
your
with that.
lawnmower, you know, there's lots of things
Yeah.
that make noise. So,
Well, I hope she gets that worked out. But if she lives in the city, Joe said if I can't have a rooster, I better not hear a dog bark all night. And I have 3 dogs. I agree. I totally agree, because you know, before we moved back here, we were next to a dog that barked every single night. And they, you know, when they stayed gone, that poor dog, especially when it was real cold outside, the dog barked all night.
I know, it did. We felt sorry for the dog.
And I hope, you know,
but it was a mean dog too. You know, that's another thing about, you know, living in a neighborhood. There needs to be, if you're going to restrict the chickens, you need to restrict the dogs that are mean and stuff, you know. Yeah. And some of them do have like a leash law or whatever, and some of them don't. But
they have a leash law, but there's no dog barking law.
That's true.
Well, there may be. I don't know, but there wasn't in the one that we lived in. And you know, I don't think our neighbors. We have one set of neighbors within hearing range of the chickens, but especially since we moved them down here. Yeah. I hope they can't hear them as good over there.
I don't think they can.
You know, and we try to position them so it doesn't affect them much.
Right.
And, you know, and we're, you know, we're real close to our neighbors. I mean, close in relationship. I mean,
yeah, and relationship
We've
and
known
distance.
them for a long time. So we try to, you know, we try to be respectful to them.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have the chicken pen right next to them, but we have it. You want to read the chat?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I was reading chicken laws. So Uncle Bob said the population of our city is less than 1,000. Oh, goodness.
Really? In less than 1,000 they did that.
Yeah.
And see, we're not in a town. We're in a rural county.
Yeah.
Now the county doesn't have very good school system, so it's not really for people that, you know, are, I mean, it's got a private school, you know, that I think is pretty decent, but the other advantage here is we don't have a lot of restrictions. That's
true. I mean,
they would probably have a little uproar if they banned chickens in this.
They probably would. Every person that, you know, in a mile has a chicken, you know, they do. And we all, you know, we go to church and we talk to our neighbors about the chickens. You know, we all have chickens.
You see people, we go to a little church, you see people exchanging eggs.
Yes, you know? So we give eggs, they give eggs to people, you know, we share. Right. And, you know, it's awesome to be able to do that. And, you know, it's hard if you can't, you know, share your eggs and stuff and have your chickens. But Uncle Bob, that's terrible about.
Also, Joe mentioned that things like that make me so glad I'm out in the sticks.
Yeah.
and Uncle Bob said, yes, me too. And we live out in the sticks also.
Yeah.
We are pretty far out. The town close to us is a small town, but we're, you know,
30 minutes.
We live out in the sticks and we like it.
Yes, we do. We love it. Yeah.
Driving to work takes about a half hour, and I like it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
it is what it is, and then, you know, I'm work from home, so I don't have to do that drive anymore, but
yeah,
you do. And
you know, I kind of look.
It's like a wind down.
Like going to work. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like on the way, I guess it gives me 30 minutes that I'm not there yet. But,
right. Well, on the way.
But I like talk to my mom.
Yeah.
On the way in.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and then, you know, the town we normally go to is about 35 minutes from here. So, you know, you have to, you know, you can't run down the road to the restaurant real easy. You have to make plans.
Right.
You know, but
then we have it's about 15 or 20 minutes away. There is a fish camp next to the reservoir. and we go there, you know, to eat out if we want to. But yeah, you got to plan. If you want to go out to eat, you got to plan it. You can't run to McDonald's, you know, next door, or Burger King, or wherever, which we don't want to do that anyway. You know, that's the purpose of us living out here, is so we can eat better.
You hit pause on your phone there.
Oh, no.
Your chats are coming in. Yeah, we have, by the way, we have been eating better. We've been eating a lot better.
We have. You know, we talked about getting an air fryer, and we did get a toaster. It's a toaster oven that has the built-in air fryer, and I fixed, you know, just the chicken in it, and it seems to be juicier, tastes a little better in that air fryer than it does, you know, just putting it in the oven and baking it or something like that. It does taste better to me. You know, I just put some seasoning on it, and I put it in the air fryer and cooked it. And also I did just, you know, those, I can't wait till we have our own potatoes, but those little red potatoes, I cut them up and put seasoning on them, and, you know, just a little bit of olive oil, and put them in the air fryer, and they were pretty good too.
By the way, those potatoes I noticed coming in the driveway, they're looking pretty good.
Okay.
I didn't get out and look today, but they're looking pretty good.
So they are coming up.
They are coming up. So also, speaking of gardening, and that's another thing we were going to talk about, is it too early to plant? You know,
Joe said he does fish in the air fryer too.
Really?
He did that tonight.
We should try that.
And Uncle Bob says he does Brussels sprouts in the air fryer.
Cool.
Yeah. And I saw a recipe where you can do broccoli. We love broccoli. Love steamed broccoli. So I'm gonna have to,
just the way it is.
You like it steamed?
I don't want to change it.
Well, I don't know.
You can try it, but I really
I want
like
to try it and see if I can put some broccoli in there and in the air fryer. I think it might be good.
Can you put asparagus in there? Because you know I like.
You know,
asparagus.
you do like asparagus. You probably can. I'm gonna have to look up some recipes. I'm excited about my air fryer. I've just been putting all kinds of stuff in there, so I'm gonna look up some recipes and see what I can put in there to cook.
Joe said he grows 36 broccoli plants every year. They like it so much. Broccoli gets a little crispy on the flower head.
Okay.
I really, I can see that, because I really like how our broccoli is.
When I cook it.
That's something I don't want to change.
Okay, well, I'll continue to steam my broccoli.
Yeah, you can steam it. You can try other stuff, but not that. But,
okay.
You know, talking about the garden, you know, is it too early to plant? And obviously it depends on where you are. We're in zone 8. Some people friends of mine, you know, they're waiting. They think it's too early, but we planted some stuff here. I did, and before I planted, I looked at the 30-day forecast. There's one night it's supposed to get down to
40.
I'm gonna make sure it hadn't changed. We planted the corn and the potatoes in the garden.
And the potatoes you planted a few weeks back, and they're just now coming up. It takes potatoes a little while.
They're ground crops, so they should be fine. The corn, and here's what happened. A friend told me that the corn, if you planted it early, that it would be shorter stalks and
less bugs.
And we did that 2 years ago, and it really worked out good. So that's why we planted it early. And
it's so good. Like, the sweet corn is just so good to me. And, you know, we all love it. And I just boil it. Sometimes I'll cut it off the cob and kind of do it that way, but I just do corn on the cob and boil it, and it's just good, you know. That's just really good to me.
So Uncle Bob mentioned he's in zone 5.
Okay.
So we're in zone 8, and we have a long gardening season down here, thankfully. The disadvantage is it is very humid in the summer here, and it's very uncomfortable out in the garden during the heat. But,
yes,
you know,
it is.
If you work the garden in the morning or in the evening, it's not that bad.
It's not as bad.
I know people that put lights out there and work
was it your friend Johnny, or who was it that did that?
I don't know. I remember somebody did that.
I think somebody told us that.
They put a light out there
and worked at night in the garden.
We might do that.
That would probably be a whole lot better. But sometimes here, even at night, it can be 80 degrees.
But I don't know. You know, I'd have to do it early in the morning before the sun came up, because
You think so?
when the sun goes down, I'm ready to go to bed.
That's true. So, yeah, like wake up at what, 3, 4 in the morning and go out there and do it.
Wow, Joe said we're getting down to 29 tomorrow night.
Oh no.
But I have planted a few peas, potatoes, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and lettuce, so it'll be fine. I noticed we were dipping down to 44 is the lowest here, so
When
we should
is
be
it
okay.
supposed to
That's
be?
going to be Saturday night.
Okay. Okay.
But we don't have any rain on the forecast for a little bit
No,
here.
we're gonna have to do some watering and water the garden. Did
I've
you?
been watering everything.
Yeah. Did we
They-
water the corn the other day when we planted it?
No,
We
we
thought
didn't.
it was gonna rain,
Yeah.
and it never did.
And that's why I planted it then, because
Yeah,
it looked
we thought
like
it was gonna rain, so we'll have to water the corn so it'll start coming up.
So probably not this weekend, but next weekend I may plant some more stuff. Go ahead and plant the
Well, you know, we
squash.
got the squash, but the English peas are supposed to be planted early too. So they do better, I think, in the spring, or, you know, instead of the late summer. So, you know, we probably need to get those planted.
Joe said down to 44 for the lowest, that we should be okay. So, you know, that's the lowest I see now.
Okay.
So I think we're going to be good.
I think so
Because
too.
there was one other spot on end of the month that it looks like 47 may be the low.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not going to get as cold as it is up north. So,
So, Uncle Bob, when do you start planting, or do you plant anything? Would like to hear when you're going to be able to plant something.
yeah, I didn't realize how much I missed it till we were out in the garden. And, you know, last year we had so much going on, we skipped the garden.
Yeah.
And we're like out of fresh food now. So
Yeah.
we've got to get something going.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I can't wait to have a tomato. Like, I know I say that all the time, but I just really can't. To me, it's just something about getting that first tomato
yeah.
off the vine and eating it. You know, it's just, I can't
just
wait
wish
for that.
I ate tomatoes.
You like to grow them, but you don't like to eat them.
Honestly, they're my favorite thing to grow, but I just can't
Now,
eat
if it's cooked though, like in a pasta or whatever,
In a
you know,
soup,
in
yeah.
a soup, you'll eat it. But
yeah, I love them in a soup.
yeah, but not like a raw tomato.
Yeah. And I'm gonna try another one this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna try one of those Abe Lincolns.
Yeah, I think you need to try one of those Abe Lincolns. They
Yeah.
taste the best.
Yeah. And you know, that reminds me of my grandmother when I was young. If you didn't like something, she wanted you to try it anyway. And that's how I started liking
Right.
squash and cabbage.
Joe says, yeah, you probably do need to get those peas planted soon. He's planting the rest of his early next week.
Yeah, I probably, I'll probably be later in the week, next week, because I've
Yeah.
got something Monday that I can't do it. And so, yeah, we've got to get all those in the ground. And our purple hull peas down here.
So Joe says that we need to grow a yellow-orange variety. They have a different flavor profile. So
well, those Alice's are,
yes, so
I'm
when
gonna
we
make sure
ordered
that
the
it's not getting hot.
seeds, yeah, we ordered the seeds, they sent us a free seed, and it was a Alice's Dream, and it looks like it's kind of maybe an orangey color. So, you know, kind of looking forward to seeing what comes off of that. But the plants, you know, they're coming up and they look good, but they seem smaller than like the Better Boys or the Abe Lincolns, and especially the cherry tomatoes, because the cherry tomatoes grow tall, but they just seem like they're going to be a smaller plant. So I'm interested to see what we get off of the Alice's Dream. Joe, have you ever had an Alice's Dream? Do you know anything about those, what they taste like? He says orange and yellow are delicious. Maybe the Narmit variety, those are smaller plants. Okay.
Paul, our friend Paul, likes what does he call them? The tomato, lemon something tomatoes?
I don't know.
He loves those. They're a yellow tomato. I don't know, lemon head or lemon something. He
Okay.
loves those, and I should try those.
Okay, so Joe said he doesn't know anything about Lemon Boy, probably, he said. But he doesn't know anything about Alice's Dream. So whenever we start getting those tomatoes off of the Alice's Dream, we'll have to show you what they look like and do a taste
and
test.
I'm going to try one. And
Yeah.
Uncle Bob said, was talking about forgot my train of thought. You go off the Farmer's Almanac, and that's what we did planting the potatoes.
Yeah.
We looked in the zone and went by the Farmer's Almanac on that.
Yeah. So my sister said orange and yellow are delicious.
Okay.
So she eats the little, they have the different variety for the smaller tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes too.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes to eat the yellow colored cherry tomatoes. So
Okay, I didn't know there were yellow colors.
Yeah, they're like a yellow color, but they're a cherry tomato, but they're a yellow color. So
did we plant the Alice's? We planted here.
Did we plant one over here, or did we decide not to? But we do have the other garden bed to plant, and we are going to put some more in it. So if we didn't, I'd like to put one of the Alice's Dreams in.
And the reason we
raised
hadn't
garden
finished
bed.
it is still got ants in it. We put the
Yeah.
diatomaceous earth in there, and they're still
So
in
what happened was, if you put diatomaceous earth on fire ants, it kills them. But you have to have like the whole bed, so you kill the whole population at one time. And when he was doing the tiller thing in the raised garden bed, he didn't know that the ants were there, and it stirred them all up. So now it's like they're all over the garden bed. Like they don't have one specific place. Like you can just dig in there and there's just ants coming up. So, I know up north you don't have as big a problem with fire ants as we do down here, but the fire ants are terrible. I mean, they eat your food. They get in the garden.
Fire ants are horrible.
They are. They get in your garden. They eat your food in the garden. They bite and hurt really, really bad. They make these sores. They're awful. In fact, my daughter, if she gets bit by a fire ant, it's almost like she got bit by a wasp, because her whole hand or whatever will swell up, or her foot. So, it's terrible. So.
Joe, you're right. It was Lemon Boy. That's what the variety is. And what was those other two?
So Joe says that he would recommend Dr. Winch's yellow, Amanda orange, and pineapple varieties.
We need to really try more of those, because we're stuck on the red tomatoes. And you see something?
I guess it's the cat.
We need to try more of those, and I might like the yellow ones more.
You might. You never know.
I don't know that I've ever tried one of them.
I don't think you've tried a yellow one. I think you've tried the Abe Lincoln before, because we grew those, but not a yellow variety. There's another one. What do you call those other ones? The purple somethings that people like?
Cherokee.
Yeah, the Cherokee.
Did we grow those? We grew
did.
them. What did we think of them?
We didn't really like them. We liked the Abes better.
Everybody else likes them.
Everybody else likes those. But
Purple Cherokee, I think was.
Yeah, purple Cherokee is what Joe says.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we did grow those. Daddy wanted to grow them, so we grew those.
But I didn't really like the taste of them. I'd rather have the Abes, or just a Better Boy to eat.
Well, we're gonna have to try the yellow ones a little more.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't wait.
I'll order those next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Alice's Dreams to produce and see what they look like and taste like. So
there goes the airplane.
Oh.
And the Blue Angels are going to be not far from us over the weekend.
Yeah.
We had somebody.
Joe says that it's his dad's favorite, but he doesn't care for them that much either. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I had a lot of people that just love them.
Yeah. I think my sister does. She likes those too, but I don't. I just didn't like the way they tasted, really.
Yeah.
So
the other thing we were going to talk about tonight, and this is to you specifically.
Oh.
Are chickens really worth it?
Well,
So
Not
if you did a budget on your chickens,
my budget on my chickens would probably be bad, but you know, if you don't have 30 chickens, they are worth it. You know,
if you think of it on a scale as a normal person might
Yeah.
have, you know, that where they have chickens that actually lay eggs.
yeah, mine
or
are
they
laying
get,
again.
or they get, you know, they get rid of them. Like 6 chickens for a family, would they be worth it?
I
then?
think they would.
They,
I really think
you know,
they
if
would.
you compare it to,
Especially if you're a person, I mean, you put eggs in lots of recipes and then you just eat eggs. You know, if you're a person that loves eggs and likes to eat eggs, if you're a family and have, you know, like 6 chickens, I think it's worth it, you know. And you put eggs in, I don't know, cakes. You use it in cornbread.
Joe
all
said
kinds
they're
of
worth
stuff.
it for me, but I do it more than just eggs, and that Tina does too, and I think most of our friends do too, more than just the eggs.
Yeah.
You know,
You
you do it for the.
Well,
having
Joe
pets.
does it to eat because he eats the
and
chickens.
we need to do that.
We
more
do
than
need
we're
to do
gonna,
that part of it.
You know.
So I think that's what Joe meant, is because he eats the chickens.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you do it for that purpose too, which, you know, we didn't look that up. Is there a ban on that? Like harvesting your own chickens in states? I would like to know that.
I'm sure that would be included in the 6 chickens. I don't know.
It may be. I don't know. But anyway, sorry I got off the subject. But I think it's worth it. If you eat eggs, you know, you put an egg in like all kinds of stuff. I mean, even if you're making a wash to go on fried chicken or whatever, you use an egg.
And you know something else, think about, like, even if you had to pay more, at least you know where it's going back to the garden or wherever, you know where your food's coming, so it makes it worth it, you know.
Look, I was looking up something, just, you know, you just get on the YouTube and you look at things. And there was a video that had 1 million views, but it was on a chicken coop, and it was a metal chicken coop, and they had probably 20 chickens in this small coop. No bedding. It was just the eggs rolled down, a metal coop. The eggs rolled down, and they got food and water. But the space for each chicken was just, you know, like this. And I just couldn't believe that people actually have chickens like that just sit there.
I mean, that's almost like your major factories.
It is. And, you know, I know, you know, how I treat my chickens, and that they're fed well and watered well, and that they have a space where they can run around and be a chicken, you know, and not be cooped up in that small cage, you know, it's just dirty, you know.
Joe said financially raising chickens just for eggs, I don't think saves any money, but there are other things to consider.
That's true.
And that's right, like the fertilizer, you know, that's
the other.
You know where the eggs coming from. You know what they're
fed. So like if you grow your chickens and you can reuse the fertilizer, you know, which I use the pine shavings, and of course you've got to let it break down, but you use that to fertilize your garden or whatever. You know, that's another thing. The egg shells, you can use every part of an egg. You can use the eggshells in your garden. You could feed it to your chickens if you needed to. So it's like a recycling thing too, you know, for everything about a chicken. I mean, if you're raising them, you can eat them. You can eat you can use every part of a chicken egg that, you know, that they can produce. Now,
and then if we ever had an emergency,
right.
I mean, we could eat them.
We could.
Would you let us eat them then?
Yeah, I would. If there was an emergency, we would eat the roosters first. We might try the silky roosters first because, you know, supposedly they're supposed to taste a little different because they have black meat. I don't know. But people are over in the Oriental countries, they eat the silkies because they have the black meat and they believe all kinds of things about them. So maybe we should try one of the silky. I wouldn't mind eating one of the silky roosters. They're mean.
Okay, read the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem with the silkies, you don't have anything but a little chicken nugget.
I know, right? Don't know about your eggs, but I can break a store-bought egg, then break one of my eggs. The yolk in my egg is a lot darker than the store-bought egg. You're right. It is.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
And, you know, I talked about this before, but according to what breed of chicken you have, the eggs shells are thicker on certain breeds of chickens too. I don't know.
All of yours pretty thick, or are they?
Yeah, they are. The Easter eggers lay good eggs, and their shells are kind of thicker to me. Like, it's harder to break. But the Copper Morans, their eggs are really hard to break, like the shells on them.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just the breed of chicken, but they're hard to break.
And I think there's nothing better than a fresh egg.
Yeah.
From the farm, you know.
Now, Scott loves fried eggs. You know, like, I'll fry him an egg, and he loves those, which I don't put like a ton. I just spray the pan with the cooking spray and fry the egg that way. And he loves the fried eggs. Now, I don't like fried eggs. I'll eat them. I like them scrambled. And I'll make me, you know, some stuff on it. I'll put some cheese and some bacon bits or something on my eggs and scramble them like that. That's what I like to
Joe's got
eat.
a point. Homegrown chicken eggs are always thicker in my experience.
Okay.
It's because they actually get the proper food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
'Cause
Maybe so.
I would assume the big places just feed them just enough to get by to save on cost,
and
you know.
probably do. So
Yours gets treats all day.
yeah,
I mean,
mine
and-
gets, you know, they do get treats.
Yeah,
on it.
so they probably are just enough to, and it's probably no telling what's in that food.
I know, right?
The steroids and stuff to make them produce and all that stuff. But, you know, yours is, you've gone a lot organic lately, haven't you?
I have. So I did, when they stopped laying, I did go buy the organic food. The organic food is more expensive. I think it's helped them. I really do. Feeding them the organic food is helped them better than, you know, just the regular cheaper food. So I will keep buying that. It is, I think it's almost $30 a bag.
How long will it last?
So two bags last a month.
That's not bad.
No, it's not bad because I
You're
incorporate.
talking about for all the chickens?
Yeah, for all the chickens, 2 bags last for a month. But I do give them scratch grains. And so, you know, they don't eat just the layer pellets or the layer crumbles. They eat scratch grains. So it does help them.
Okay.
You know, stay fuller or whatever. So they're not just eating the scratch grains.
Yeah.
I mean, the pellets, the layer pellets. So,
Yeah.
and they get mealworms, and, you know, I feed them their eggs if I have too many. So they get plenty of food,
Yeah.
plenty of protein.
Oh, you know, I'm getting derailed here.
Oh, you're getting
But
deer.
a thought came back to me
it
from
flew in your head.
when we were talking
That's
about
called old age.
when we were talking about gardening. We were talking about need to go ahead and plant the peas here. Our purple. If I said this, just
You don't know if you're
strike the
repeating?
I really now I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna say it. The purple hull peas.
You didn't say it.
We can plant twice in a season here.
That's true. If we plant purple hull peas early, we can plant them again later on. Probably the end of July,
Yeah.
beginning of August, and they'll produce again before the end of, you know, before it gets cold.
Sorry to derail, but I'm
That's
going to
okay.
derail back to your chickens because Joe brought up a point that I think you might ought to do. He said, I think I'm going to split my chicken run into 2 sections, plant something in one while they are in the other one. That way he can alternate planting so they always have fresh plants.
Okay.
We're going to put they have a run area here, but we're going to put another fence around so one group can come out like one day and the next day. But I wonder if you divided that in half.
Yeah.
Let one side grow.
Yeah,
And then alternate, kind of like when
Like
you're raising,
Joe's saying, yeah.
and like when you're raising cows.
You do that.
You can block one part off And I think we should do that. And I think that would be,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. We'll start with just get the outside fence done.
Yeah,
and
Joe says, yeah, you can get a spring and a fall crop from peas along with some other veggies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you could probably do that with the squash, too. We just had never done it because...
We need to do that.
Yeah, because we love squash.
Said we're running low. We're out of squash, aren't we?
Yeah, we have no squash, like
So,
none. So, you know, you can freeze it, but it's so much better when it's fresh. So we need to alternate that. And squash grows so good, and you know
it's easy to grow.
It is easy to grow, and the zucchini, I like to mix my squash and my zucchini and cook it.
Different kind of squash. We always do the crooked neck squash, but we got the winter squash too, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
So we're gonna try that later on and
see how that works.
Yeah. So, you know, we got a lot of work to do. So I think I probably won't be able to pick up in the garden. I may do a little bit Saturday. Have we got something Saturday?
I don't think so.
Is that when we're supposed to get together at my grandmother's? Or is that before Easter?
That's before Easter, I believe. That's the Saturday before Easter.
Well, I may get out and work Saturday then.
So we have to go to a baby shower, me and my daughter-in-law.
I've decided the only other attachment I want on my tractor now is the tiller that goes on the PTO hitch. After that, I'm done.
Uh-huh. So that's what you need now?
Yeah, because I still do it with the regular tiller at the big garden.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do like it because I get the exercise and I need the exercise, so I get my steps in then. The only thing, I didn't wear my watch that day, so I didn't get credit for it.
You didn't get credit for the
I would love
walking.
to have one of those that go behind the tractor, and we could really do a huge garden. Because I use the tractor for everything else.
Joe says the thing about that is I'm usually wore out by late summer and just don't want to mess with the fall harvest.
I'm like that too. All my friends have a fall harvest, and I'm like,
no,
dude, I can't do it anymore. Because going through the heat down here is just awful. But
yeah.
I'm going to just have to get out there early in the morning and late in the afternoon and get it done.
Which, you know, he works full time, but he's going to cut back in June. So hopefully that'll help, you know, with the garden and everything, that you'll be able to do more, you know. So
I'm looking forward to that. So
I know you are.
Oh gosh, I just, I'm looking forward to it at some point just totally being retired.
Right.
But we're not there yet.
No. But we will. You will be.
So,
we'll get there.
Yeah, because I'll stay out in the garden all summer. But it's therapy to me.
Right.
But I do think we're right. I don't know that we're going to be able to have a fire. It's so hot out here.
Well, since we may not have a fire next week, I cut me a stick. And when we get done, I'm going to get me a marshmallow before you put the fire out, and I'm going to roast the marshmallows. I love my marshmallows.
You should have brought it out here.
Well, I forgot. I forgot. So, yeah, I cut a stick.
We may do a fire next week. I don't know.
It's according to how cold it is.
Wood, so I don't
yeah, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I am going to roast me a marshmallow because I hadn't had one, I don't know, since New Year's. And that's a long time, and we have a fire every Thursday.
Every time.
I know. So I'm hungry for some marshmallows.
So the fireside chat will turn into just a chat by the light.
I guess so. Well, when it gets, you know, light, you know, later we'll be able to feed the fish and look at the raised garden bed and stuff and talk about that a little bit, you know, before it gets dark. In the summertime here, it doesn't get dark till 8:30 a lot of times, and even then it's still somewhat light outside. So, you know, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Joe, I think our email is on the channel description. If not, let me know. So yeah, let me know. So but if not, I will put it on there. I'm looking right now. I don't see it on there.
There is an email on your website that I looked at earlier.
Okay, it should go through. So when you do, I'll respond to it and let you know. So, okay. All right, well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up. Joe,
I'm going to get me a
Chicken Uncles
marshmallow.
Bob and Tasha, thank you all for chatting
thank y'all.
with us.
We really enjoy y'all chatting
We
with
do.
us and talking. You know,
We look
and
forward to this.
we do every week. We're like, oh, is it time for our Thursday night chat? And we really do enjoy it.
Yeah,
so,
we do enjoy it. That's the best part about YouTube is being able to interact.
Yeah, and talk to people.
Yeah. So, and if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you when Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, I'm going to move the baby chickens to the chicken coop, but I'm going to put them in a small little coop inside with the other bigger chickens just so they get used to each other. And then when they get bigger, I can let them out and wander around with them. But it's getting warm. They no longer really need a heater. They're 4 weeks old. They've growing their feathers out. It's really warm at night. Now, when it gets down to 40, I may get them and put them up, for the night, and then put them back in the chicken coop because that is a little cool for them. But they have, they're getting their feathers and they're getting a little bit warmer. They don't really need that heater, anymore. So Saturday morning, I'm going to be moving them. And so I hope y'all can join us then, and we'll move those baby chickens.
All right. Well, everybody have a good night, and thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you then.